Welcome to Geeks of the North, a hobby and gaming podcast in adult province. We're here to paint some miniatures and talk about the hobby, so why don't you sit back, relax, grab a paintbrush, and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to Geeks of the North, your hobby and gaming podcast in adult province. As always, I'm your host, Paul Filio. Here this week, once again, with my delightful partner in crime, Antoine Bergeron.
Hello.
How's it going, Antoine?
Going good. It was a good hobby week for once. I had slow weeks in the past few months, but the last couple of weeks have been good.
Darn that real life.
Yep.
That's okay, because now I've discovered Pulp City. You discovered it a long time ago. I resisted temptation.
But no longer.
Like, last week I finished painting everyone, which I think I may have actually done. No, I still had a couple things to paint at the end of the cast last week. But I finished painting that before the end of the week, and we played our first game on Friday. And by Saturday I was planning my next purchases and the city I was going to build to play in, and all that fun stuff. So I guess you can say mission accomplished, Antoine.
Mm-hmm.
You convinced me.
It's such a fun game.
It wasn't that hard.
No. Like we've said in the past, you already tried the game years ago.
Yeah, the models didn't speak to me then, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I really think I just didn't see the opportunity. Now I'm going to compare this to a rather adult thing. So, when you buy a house, often, or almost always, it's done to the previous owner's tastes, right?
Yep.
Which may not align with yours. And a lot of people have a hard time envisioning the house they're looking at. They can't see past the decorations and the colors the current owners have put in them, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what happened with me. I could not see past the models that I'd seen. And I think seeing your models changed my impression of the game. Or impression of the, what could be done with those sculpts.
Mm-hmm.
Because, a lot of them they're older sculpts. They're not, by today's miniature standards, right? They're not, the Privateer Press or Games Workshop, level of sculpts.
Oh, some of them show their age.
Yeah. And that's okay, right? Like, there's nothing, uh-oh. Damn it. Sorry. Crazy glue issue.
Jordan will be happy. Already the first hobby mishap.
Yeah, well, I don't know how glue got on that piece. Somehow glue got on the back of a piece I was sticking to something. But I don't know how that happened, considering how I'm gluing it. Anyway, anything I can do to make Jordan happy, I guess is a good thing. What was I saying? Just, I couldn't see the potential, right? And then seeing how pretty your models looked, kind of made me start to wonder if maybe I was being a little too critical. And then painting my own, and actually looking around online and seeing what other people had done with some of the newer sculpts. Because there have been a pretty drastic improvement in the sculpting since the game originally started. And again, I don't think that's a problem with the game, or a change in the game, just as much as a change in, like, miniature sculpting in general. Right? 3D sculpting has changed everything. And I think getting sculpts done is more affordable now. So it makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So even, without having a big name do the sculpting, you still can get some fantastic sculpts at prices that are very reasonable, even for small companies. Yeah, you can get a good miniature sculpted now. Like some people do it for just a couple $100. Couple $100 US, mind you. But still, that's pretty cheap, right?
Yep.
And the turnaround time is much quicker. Your masters are easier to make, right? 3D printing. And, the whole industry has just changed. And I think it really makes it so the small indie company can afford to do something really nice now because it doesn't cost what it used to cost. All to say, I'm glad I gave Pulp City another chance. It's been tons of fun. And to that end, I am putting together a building from Plascraft Games. I believe it's called their Urban Building. And it is a polystyrene building that's it's printed on, so no painting required. Just some gluing. And then voila, you have a fully functional 3D building to play with.
It's your second one, right?
Yeah. This is the second one I've done. And they are quite sturdy. They are quite nice looking. And if you have a good hookup, they are quite affordable. I think I paid for this particular building, I think it was $23 Canadian. Which is pretty much wholesale price, so someone was nice enough to help me out with that. Problem being, though, that the suppliers or the distributors only had one of each building in stock.
Yeah, I was going to order some, but it will have to wait until they are able to get their end back on them.
Yeah. But, on a side note, that leads us to our next hobby project. I bought some papercraft buildings from, can't remember the company.
Stozel's,
Stozel Structures?
Something like that.
Yeah, you get them through a Drive-Thru-RPG or whatever the wargaming equivalent is.
War Games Vault.
Yeah, I mean, they're the same page, it's the same, it's two different skins on the same thing, and
yep.
In fact, if I log into Drive-Thru-RPG, this shows up there, even though I bought it on the other one. So, yeah. So, it's basically buildings you make out of foam core. You print paper, you glue it down to the foam core, you cut where it tells you to cut. You glue it all together. You get nice 3D buildings. They can also be fully like interior decorated. And you can separate the buildings. There's a couple different ways you can build them, so you can separate them to have access to the interior, which is very cool.
Yeah, depending on the type of games you play.
Yeah.
If that is something you require, you can do it.
Like if you're doing maybe a pulp RPG or a modern day RPG, you could totally do the building with all the interior and everything. It's pretty cool. And the file was really cheap. I bought, I can't remember what it's called.
The Muck.
The Muck, yeah.
But I don't remember what it stands for.
I don't remember, but it's a bunch of different buildings. It's like 300 pages of PDF. With everything from like different flooring patterns and different wall textures and it's the very, very affordable price of $5. And then a trip to the dollar store later to get some black foam core. I went for the black stuff because I figured the interior foam is gray, so it would look better if it ended up being exposed than the white stuff.
Yep, I agree with that.
But yeah, it's going to be a fun little hobby project. I'll do that later this week. I've got a bunch of tools coming to make my life easier. Shouldn't say a bunch. There's a bunch of, I got like a paper trimmer, a couple other crafting tools coming, just to make some of the process simpler. Not really necessary, but I figured in for a penny, in for a pound, I'll spend $20. And if I can save 10 minutes on every building, and I'm building 5 buildings, I save an hour. That hour's worth $20 to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've built 2 of their models. Well, the same one twice, in fact. They have a derelict facility, and it's a free sample. So I built that to play my monster game with Guillaume earlier this year, and it's a really nice product. And the fact that it's so cheap make a bunch of different sizes. Like, the templates you have work for 4 different footprints, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. It's like 4.5 by 4.5, 4.5 by 6, 6 by 6, 6 by 9, and 4.5 by 9.
Something like that.
I think that's everything. Yeah, and for $5, $5, and the foam core I paid $1.50 a sheet at the dollar store. And then, an X-Acto knife, and I bought some glue sticks. And I bought a nice metal ruler for cutting on that foam core. And a disposable utility knife, and a bunch of blades. Because foam core is going to dull a knife.
It does really fast.
Yeah. But that's okay. Because
you have spares.
I got plenty of spares. That door looks too small.
Anything else you've done this week? Earlier than working on those buildings?
No, not really. Aside from that, I've been pretty hobby light last week. Well, I mean, painting Red Republic stuff, doing the building, not hobby light. I've painted like 3 models and built 2 buildings.
Yeah, so it's not that light.
It's not that hobby light, yeah. It's hobby light compared, I suppose, to the weeks where, I painted an army. or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, compared to that, it's hobby light.
Sure.
It's all a matter of...
perspective?
Exactly. Thank you, that was a big boy word that I couldn't think of.
Yeah, on my side it's been Pulp City also. Less than you. I've painted Red Bella. Last week I just finished the Primate of Nature. So I started with Bella. I've been able to finish her today, in fact. Well, finished. I still have to add a couple of basing items and varnish her, but she's about done. I put some leaves under the bases for my arc.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all that is left to do. Put the leaves and varnish. I'll probably wait until I have the next 2 models done and do it as a batch.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I've been priming my Primate of Mystery, the third small leader for the arc. And I painted his base yesterday and today. Also painted the base for Dr. Red. And now I'm painting Dr. Red himself. That's what I'm doing at the moment. So with those 2, I will have my ARC complete. It won't be a complete faction because I'm missing a model. The little chimpanzee ninja.
He's also part of the Way, right?
Yes. So I'm missing that one. I don't know why I don't have it. I thought I ordered it, but...
You'll find it probably 15 minutes after you finish painting the one you're going to order to replace the one you already have.
That's entirely possible.
Speaking from experience, that's how these things work.
Yeah. But I think when I ordered my last batch of model, it was back order, and that's why I don't have it. But I don't remember exactly. So I might have it somewhere here, or not. So...
Only time will tell.
When the store opens back up, I'll be sure to have done a more thorough search than just what I've done recently, and confirm if I need to order one or not. But once I have that, I will have the full ARC faction painted and available.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's about 18 points of model, so a lot more than what we
standard
need to play.
game size? Yeah.
Also, 3 of those are leaders, so I can for sure never play the full faction together.
Yeah, because you can't play
multiple leaders.
More than one leader at a time, right?
Yeah. But it doesn't matter too much. They're just small 1-point models. And they're fun to do. They're super small, the 3 primates. The 3 primates of power, so...
I just love their names.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't mess with anyone whose name has of power in it, right? That's just common sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And apart from that, today I've just digged out more of my modern terrain accessories, and got them ready for either priming, or those that are already primed just got a base wash to start detailing. So more garbage bins, road signs, a big garbage, not container, yeah, a container, garbage container.
Dumpster?
A dumpster, yeah. So I have even more variety for accessories.
Sweet. I look forward to dying gloriously at your hands.
Oh, the other thing I've done this week is I've been sketching and doing plans for a team table for Pulp City.
I just want to point out that you made fun of me earlier today because I quote-unquote went all in, on this game.
Yeah, you went all in almost without even trying the game, which you usually do. It's not like I've not been talking about that game for a while.
What do you mean without trying the game? I played a whole game with you.
Yeah, but even before that, you were already starting to...
Well, yes, but here's
talk
the thing.
about it more, and...
When everyone you know says, oh my god, this game is good, you must be playing it, it usually means that the game is good and you should be playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Danger, Will Robinson.
But yeah, I did some sketches for a rooftop battle, like at the top of high-rise and buildings, instead of doing the what I've done up to now, which are down on the streets and the building. So it's going to be a different point of view.
The mean streets of Pulp City.
Yep. I like the idea. I'm not sure how I will render it, or if I render it, because I have other ideas for custom maps. So I think I'll just do some more sketch and just choose the one that seems the more possible to complete as a build-in project.
Well, having seen your previous terrain projects, Antoine, I'm sure there's very little that's outside your reach.
Yeah, but there's an element of time and material.
Of course. Well, that's always a factor, for sure.
And it's mostly what might prevent me from picking one over another. But we'll see. Sketches fill time in the commute, so I can do as many as I like. So, you've hinted at it, but the game played this week. We played Pulp City.
Yeah. We played some Pulp City. And it was glorious. My Russian Liberation Army, Anti-Capitalist Liberation Army, what do they call it? The Red Republic, fought valiantly against your evil monkeys, who are obviously tools of a capitalist agenda. And I nearly managed to lose to you. In the end, I had to settle for a tie because of sneaky lemurs.
Well, you nearly managed to win, and the lemur just brought me back into the game.
Sneaky lemurs.
Yep.
So, self-replicating models shouldn't be allowed in any game, if you ask me. Just saying.
Don't you play Circle that can sprout trees or stuff like that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I believe you're talking about my little stick men and the occasional sprouting tree. You're true. This is true. But that's hardly here nor there. I'm talking about your, replicating lemurs, not my replicating trees.
Mm-hmm.
Really what it boils down to is it's okay when I'm the one doing it. It's not okay when it's being done to me.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, see? It's my birthday, so you have to accept whatever I say.
Yeah, 2-speed gaming.
That's right. That building is actually quite a bit larger than I thought. So if you want to look up at the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Let me give you one of those aforementioned replicating tree guys for scale.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's quite a large building. I know that made great radio, guys.
Yeah, sure.
But I was showing Antoine the fruits of my labor. And you hardly notice the spots where my fingers got stuck to the model. That's pretty cool. Well, that's all I brought to work on, and now that's assembled, I guess, actually, it's not fully assembled. I still have to put the fire escapes and stuff on it. Those are very fiddly and not much fun. They're made out of very thin-cut, laser-cut MDF. So they snap like nothing.
Yeah, less fun to work with.
Yep. And there's like fire escapes and all kinds of crap put together. But at least this one, there's no way I could put the walls on backwards and prevent the front piece from going. That may have happened on a previous build. May have. Some clever cutting on my part, and all is well now. And in my defense, there are no real instructions for these things. There's a JPEG on their website, and I was using my phone, and it was super tiny. And since none of the parts are marked, you have to go by the picture. And a black and white JPEG and tiny of a, it was an easy mistake to make. So I'm going to say I was only 52.6% of the problem for that. Approximately.
It's a good ratio.
Exactly. So it's still more my fault than not, but only slightly so. What about you? Aside from, crushing me at Pulp City.
It ended a tie. How is it a crush? And you killed
every
more
loss
stuff
is a
than
crushing
I did.
defeat. A tie is a crushing defeat in my books.
Mm-hmm.
The USSR does not believe in loss.
Yeah.
Let's just take a look at that last Olympics, right? Those coaches were never seen again.
Mm-hmm. Aside from our game, I played a game of Aristea with G, the owner of Lebis, our local game store.
Yep.
So that was fun. I really like that game too.
Yeah, those arena games between Aristea and Judgment, and now Riot Quest coming.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be the new in thing.
And I have Night Vault in mind, but Warhammer Underworld.
Yeah, but that's not like an arena MOBA style game. It is a fast miniature game, low model count, so it certainly fills a lot of that same niche. But it's not a MOBA game. Whereas Aristea is really kind of MOBA inspired, from my understanding, and so is Judgment.
Yeah.
And so is Riot Quest. I mean, Riot Quest is supposed to be like 15 to 20 minutes for a game.
Wow.
Yeah. It's, I was listening to Hungerford, he was on Chain Attack, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, talking about it, and he was like, it's less tactical than Monster Apocalypse. He goes, there's still tactical choices, but it's less strategic than Monster Apocalypse.
Okay.
It's designed to be fun and casual. He's like, it is not War Machine. It is not meant to be War Machine. It's not supposed to have the same goals as War Machine.
Yep.
Which means we might like it. Not that we dislike War Machine, but it's just, War Machine's a very big time investment. If you want to play it at a high level, anyway.
Yes. Yeah, no. Good game. I need to get my model painted for Aristea because playing with just a base box, there's only 8 models and you use 4 in your team. So we add, I think, 2 of the same models each on our side. So it's either paint my stuff or get the base huggers, or...
So you can identify which model's yours?
Yeah. Or get some of the expansions so I have more choice so that I don't replicate my opponent.
Well, I do owe you for some models. You could trade that for Aristea stuff.
I could. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so Antoine being my Pulp City pusher, I ran out of stuff to paint, and I was kind of sad, because, painting is 80% of the reason I get involved in anything for gaming. Knowing this, Antoine's like, well, I do have this fine selection of models to pick from that I'm not currently using, so if you wanted some of them, we could work something out.
Yeah, I got quite a big selection when the game it's in beta for the Supreme Edition, the actual edition. So I got used lots and I ordered minis left and right. So I got the 2 villains and heroes starters, and those were 5 models each. But I like to pick team, and they don't have, except indie heroes and indie villains, they don't really have a cohesive teams. And since then, I've geared toward more specific factions. So there's a bunch of models in there that I probably won't use anytime soon. And I looked at it, and I have enough to make at least 3 other teams just right now. Not even looking at those starter extras. So it's all good, Paul. You can have fun painting stuff that you will use.
Yeah. I was looking at some of the teams I'm planning on building, and my whole, mystery man, occult team thing I want to do is totally not going to work at all.
Oh, no?
Well, I mean, it's legal to build, but there's not enough selection.
Oh, to make it work.
So there is a team of occult mystery stuff. It's called the Blood Watch.
Yeah.
But the problem is I don't like a lot of the models that are in it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're led by Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Though she looks a lot like Black Widow, and it's a female Van Helsing. But anyway, that's fine.
It's the descendant.
Yeah, it's great-great-great-granddaughter or something. Yeah. They have some models there that I think look cool, but not all of them. The problem being, though, that most of their models are that faction only.
Yeah.
So you can't play them outside of that team. The exception being Ace of Wraiths, who was one of the original heroes for the game. He is also a freelancer, so you can take him with the other heroes and make your own custom list. And then I can take one other model if I use a leader model in my team, because leader model lets you take another model as a core teammate in faction. So I could do that to get another one in. But then out of the independent models, or the independent heroes, looking for all the mystery ones, there's a bunch of supporters.
You're more limited in your choice. Yeah, mysteries are not the most brawler types.
Yeah. Well, so there's Ace of Wraiths, like I said, that I could take. I looked at taking Little Red Riding Hoodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I like the model. But then aside from that, this is going to drive me nuts. I can't remember people's names. I wanted to take Dr. Warlock as my team leader.
Mm-hmm.
And excuse me while I look up cards. But after that, it gets kind of complicated. So I could take, I think his name is Red Oni or something. He's in the way, but he's also a freelancer. Crimson Oni. So he's a brawler martial artist with like mystical fists.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I remember him.
Kung Fu master type. There is Antian, who is one of the random hero cards.
Oh, he's the flying powerhouse, right?
Yeah. He's the Greek god flying powerhouse.
Yeah.
There's Crow, who I don't know if he was ever released. He's a brawler with hair control. Like, he's got hair you can use to, like, entrap you and stuff. But then, yeah, there ends up being, like, a ton of support choices. So, there is a guy that's got multiple... I can't remember his name. He's got multiple eyes and, like, a big flowing cape. Trail. So, there's Trail. There's another support model that I don't think ever came out. She's, like, floating... There was a sculpt of her. She's, like, floating on water or maybe, like, a thing of air. She's got, like, a crown.
Gwyn Shield or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know if she was ever released or just a
I think she's upcoming. I've seen the model, I think.
Yeah, I know they have a model. I don't know if it was ever released.
Mm-hmm. But already you have a leader, a powerhouse, Ace of Raid is a blaster, a support. So you already have at least 4 different types.
So the thing was, if I look at it and let's say I can't take my leader, right? Or I don't want to take the powerhouse. It really kind of like... Oh yeah,
for sure. If you don't take those big 3-level models...
If we're trying to play a smaller game for something...
then you're more limited.
And the other problem is powerhouse don't give you...
action points.
Action pool, right? So then I really can't take a level 1 supporter because the 2 AP she's going to bring is not going to... I need a 4 AP.
But
like I need
2. She brings 3 because of the aura, and other models give another point.
Yeah, if they're all in the same area. Yeah, no, I know, I realize that, but I'd rather have a person with 4.
Oh, you could have 2 models with 2, depending on what they do. 2 level 1s instead of a level 2.
But the other supporters are level 2.
Ah, okay.
Right, which again puts me at an odd number.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I guess not, because the powerhouse is 3. So with her, it's 4, and then I take 2 other models, I'm at 8. I guess it could work.
And even then, it depends. The levels are not something fixed for the game. The game size, I mean.
Yeah, no, you can play 9 points or something. You can play whatever. It doesn't matter.
That's what I've played the most, 9 up to now. So.
And there's some weird mystery models, like Sovereign. I kept looking at him, like, he has some cool abilities, but he looks kind of weird. Looks like almost a 40k commissar or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all to say, I've been doing a lot of reading, a lot of team building, and I'm going to take some models off your hands.
That's fine. I want new ones, so I need to make space. I've been thinking about new lists too. So,
a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see if I can make some of these models that I thought were bad look good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, another team I'm looking at is Heavy Metal, because they have a model in there that I really, really want, which is the Giant Hadron.
Yeah. Because
they have basically the equivalent of Ant-Man, Giant Man, for our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And they have 3 different sizes of models. The giant one is crazy giant. And then they have a regular size model, and they have a little tiny model. And in each mode, he's different. So in the small mode, he's a healer. In the medium mode, he's a blaster, like a ranged DPS damage dealer type guy. And then the big one, he's a physical brute. They throw stuff around, pummel you with his fists. So I think it's kind of interesting that he changes as he plays.
Yeah.
So I started looking at the rest of that team, and then you had 2 models from that team. You had Androida, who is a android speedster.
Mm-hmm.
The Flash. And a guy called Iron Train, which is literally an old man wearing an armored suit that kind of looks like a train.
Yeah. He's a tank.
He's pretty bad looking.
Yeah.
In terms of the art. You know. He might look okay all painted up. Mind you, I'm painting in true metallics. So I don't know what he's going to look like, but we'll see. We'll see. And the idea is that if I can build a second team of guys like a small force for demoing, then I can maybe teach other people locally how to play.
Yeah, that's my next goal once I finish the monkeys. It's doing a small second faction for either demos or for friend to play, or people who don't have the game yet, just to help promote the game.
Yeah, because I should have. I mean, unfortunately, I'm missing a few models to make. Or I'm missing several models to make the teams I want to make, so I have to wait for the store. But with the models I'm picking up with you, plus I have a model in my Russians that's multi-faction.
Mm-hmm.
Because Perrin can play as a freelancer for heroes or villains, or he can play with my team for villains. But if I use him as a hero, then I can do like 2 6-point demo teams. And I think 6-point still works for demos.
Yeah, it works great for demos.
So, hopefully they bring their store back up soon, so we can start buying stuff. I mean, they keep talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many weeks it's going to take, but...
At least you'll have something to paint for the next 2 or 3 days at your speed, so...
Well, no, I'm alone with the kids this week, so... Can't
there's that.
Can't quite paint like I usually do. Did Androida get a resculpt?
Yes.
Okay. So Androida 2 is actually a different model, because the artwork looks the same, so you can't tell.
I don't know if they've redone the artwork or just the sculpt. I don't remember. But yeah, there is a new model for... I have the old one.
Yeah, Heavy Metal had a couple cool guys. They also have the Terminator guy, Dr. Mercury. He's pretty cool.
Yes.
And they have their leader...
Core.
He's really weird.
Yes.
Because he's got all kinds of different modes where he acts like different historical figures, I guess. He's
an AI, so he gets inputted the variants, personalities to maximize their abilities and knowledge.
Yeah. So he's got Charlemagne mode, Genghis Khan mode,
and Patton
mode, yeah. I don't remember who else was in there. Oh yeah, Nuclear Jones, he's also a really cool looking model.
Yeah, that's a cool one. One from Cronin that I like, Arul mostly. The model is fine, is Cronin.
Yeah, the time traveler or something, right?
I find her fun. It's one of the models that Mark played when we played together.
Yeah, I looked briefly at her. And also have Tomcat as well.
Mm-hmm.
He was an F-14, but a superhero, wearing an F-14. But he's a powerhouse. Yes. And if I'm taking him, that means I can't be taking Giant Hadron. So
there's that.
I don't think I'd ever have use for him. Mind you, Giant Hadron, kinda hard to make live, as he cannot take cover or do anything.
Yeah. But range is so short in the game. There's not that many snipers. Like, you have one in your Russians, there's one in my monkeys. I think I've seen another one. And that's about it. After that, most range max at 6 or 8.
It's got some cool abilities, that Giant Hadron. The power throw, where it does 2 damage and blast 2. The extra effects is damage 1, knockback 4. It just sounds like fun. Just pick stuff up, throw it at someone. Deal a ton of damage, knock people around them.
That's my favorite part of the game. The fact that you can throw models or terrain pieces and interact with it just makes it so fun. It reminds me of when we started playing War Machine early, when it was mostly just battle box game with just the
lots of arm locks, headlocks, throws.
Yeah. And I was playing
weapon locks.
Troll Bloods?
Do those even exist anymore?
Some of those don't exist anymore, yeah.
Like weapon locks, headlock doesn't exist anymore, right?
I think they don't now. But like the trolls, all my trolls had 2 open hands.
Yeah. So throwing was easier for them.
Yeah, I was always doing it.
Yeah, because you get 2 dice versus the opponent's 1 die.
Well, just the fact that you can do it.
Yeah.
And they don't have crazy good melee weapons. So, like, a Signar Jack would usually just fight you because his weapon is so strong. So you want to maximize the hit, while my guys, their strength didn't go that much up with the weapon, so might as well do special attacks. And it's more fun anyway.
Yeah, this game is so fun. You're a bad man for introducing me to a dead game. Oh. Well, not dead anymore, but was dead at the time.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully it comes back alive strong, and it picks up from there.
Yeah, it looks like it's on the right course. They've got lots of planning ahead, and they seem to have a definite direction.
Mm-hmm.
So that bodes well.
Yes.
All right. How are we doing on time here? Where are we at? Oh, look at that. 50 minutes in. We don't have a topic for this show.
No, but if we're already 50 minutes in, I think that's going to be just some ramble, and we could close that with some news items.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So, first one by Aradia Miniatures. Aelania, the Dragon's Charmer. So this is a 75mm model. It's just a nice model, I find. It's a lady with a spear and what looks like Narcan contraption in her second hand.
Yeah. What she doesn't have is a lot of clothes.
Yeah. But
her proportions are realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, she's scantily clad, but not for the purpose
she's
of
covered.
being sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Covered in the right place. So, she looks like a really cool model to work her skin tones and tattoos. Like, they did a lot on a model that's mostly nude. Like the red patches over the eyes on the box art model, the white lines, and there is a lot of work in the skin tones. It's a really, really nice model.
Yeah, no, it's very well done. I like the little detail piece on the base that she's standing on, like severed dragon's legs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many dragons she's going to be charming if she keeps cutting off their arms, but. And she's priced well, I think, for a 75mm fig.
Yeah, indeed.
She's €42.
Yeah, this is a
seems to be
special price for the first 90 units.
Yeah.
But after that, it just goes to 45.
Yeah.
So it's not that much higher. She's on, well, she was on pre-order, but the shipping starts tomorrow, so before we even post. After that, the other orders will start to go out after the first 90s. They will go out mid-July.
Oh, I just realized the box art's done by Sergio.
Mm-hmm.
Sergio Calvo Rubio. So, supermaster painter extraordinaire. Explains a lot.
Yeah, helps make the model pops.
Yep.
So this was the first one. The two other items goes together. They are by TTCombat for Drop Zone and Drop Fleet Commander. So the first item is the Battle for Earth book. This is the new cross-game book for both Drop Zone and Drop Fleet. For Drop Zone, it brings the second edition of the rules. So updated rules, tweaked, and even some new surprise rules for the behemoths, which are colossal vehicles that you can play. It brings the battle to Earth the humans fight against the Scourge and all the other stuff around. For Drop Fleet Commander, it's new ships, dreadnoughts, stuff like that, and what I didn't know before today, it also brought rules for a resistance fleet.
Yeah. And they look good, Antoine.
Well, the book is £25, and I know they look good because they are the second item I wanted to mention. It's the Resistance Starter Fleet. So I didn't even know they exist until like this evening when I started finishing the research for the news. I knew about the book, but I didn't know that they were coming out. And you have Drop Fleet stuff, right?
I do indeed.
And so does Chris and other of our friends. Yeah.
And Dan and G.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you even played Drop Fleet Commander?
No.
No, okay.
No, I'll be honest. I got the ships. They look cool. They're pretty easy to assemble because they're plastics. But the rules kind of seemed like a confused mess when I tried reading them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's probably just me because a lot of rules seem like that now. I think I'm getting old.
Time for Napoleonics.
So, time for Napoleonics. Wow. Took me a second to register what you said. I'm not that old.
But yeah, the new Resistance starter fleet looks good. Comes with 3 cruisers and 4 frigates, with a lot of variation on how you want to build them. They're in hard plastic, so easy to customize, easy to like. The frigates come with 36 parts, and most of those are options.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's because it's one chassis to build a bunch of different ships. So,
yep.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was daunting, right? So I backed the Kickstarter. I got a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, okay, I can build all these different ships, but I don't know which ones are good, which ones are bad, which ones are whatever. And I didn't want to play, and you can't play with half-assembled stuff for this because of the way they mount.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, actually, one of my ships, like my big Dreadnought whatever ship, doesn't even have a mounting hole for the flight stand peg.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That seemed like a big oversight.
Yeah, well. I do have enough for a game assembled, I believe. And I found recently where the rest of the models are, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not the most enthusiastic player about Starship or Starship Battles, but they tie in with my Land Force, and if the game is good and you guys start to play, maybe makes for a campaign play possibilities.
Yeah, I really like Drop Zone Commander.
I do too. This book will be in my order soon pile.
Well, we should order together to save on shipping.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So have your people call my people.
We'll do that. Yeah, so I've mentioned it comes with 7 ships. It's £40. Also comes with the cards, flight stands, and stuff you need for the game.
Yeah, so many cool stuff. And now I'm looking at models for Drop Zone. Oh, God. Turn that page away. Alrighty. Is that everything for this week, Antoine?
Yeah, that's enough.
That's enough of us rambling about Pulp City?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I'll have kicked this habit by next week, and I'll be a more reasonable human being. But no promises.
Nope, I don't think so either.
Alright, Antoine. I will talk to you later. Thanks as always for recording. And I'll see you next week.
Yeah, next week, Paul. Happy birthday, and bye, geeks.
Thanks. Thanks for listening to Geeks of the North. If you want to contact us, you can email us at geeksofthenorth@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/geeksofthenorth, or follow us on Twitter at Geeks of the North. You can follow me, Paul, at PRFilio, Antoine at Eltonio Berg, Steve at B_Steve, and if you really feel the need, I guess you can follow Yom. He's at Yomasta. Breaks and outro music by Ladrave. You can listen to them at ladrave.bandcamp.com. See you next time, geeks.
Thank you for checking out a United Geeks Network family member. If you enjoyed it and are looking for other online media with a geek culture slant, head over to UnitedGeeksNetwork.com, where you will find All Us Geeks, a podcast that discusses board games, movies, television, comics, Kickstarter, and many other forms of geek culture. The United Geeks Network. You can broadcast your geekiness at UnitedGeeksNetwork.com.